film stars, world-class football players, journalists. In every walk of life, female workers are fighting to get equal pay and opportunities in their careers. It's a struggle that's been going on for decades, but the battle has not been won yet. In the USA, for example, the average woman's salary is around 20% less than a man's. However, in Iceland, lawmakers have taken the country a huge step forward in ensuring equal pay for women. Iceland is the first country in the world to introduce a law that requires employers to prove they are paying men and women the same wage for doing the same work. Iceland was already the world leader in gender pay equality and has had a law requiring that men and women be paid equally since 1961. However, many felt the law was not working, as women were still earning around 14% less than men. Every year, on October 24th, women in Iceland meet to demand equal pay.
My husband does always have a better salary than me. Although we have the education is almost alike, but just because he's a man. I don't want my girls and grandchild to be at that.
But it's important to notice the difference between the sexes in the working force and the working place, and to take part in the struggle for equality on the market.
Elisabeth Bjornsdottir, who works in the Treasury Department of Iceland's biggest bank, Landsbanken, says she's unaware of ever having experienced any discrimination against her in the workplace, but understands the need for the law.
Well, I guess that's one of the fundamental reasons why we need this law, is because it's not something that you can easily feel or see. Well, you can have maybe a feeling for it, but it's very hard to prove.
The new law means that employees will no longer have to gather evidence to show that they're being underpaid.
The thought behind the equal pay standard is really reversing that responsibility, putting it to the company to prove that the company is not discriminating against its employees.
Now, every employer with more than 25 staff members must prove that any wage gaps between employees of different sexes are justified by seniority, experience, education, or training, and the added value an individual brings to the job. Other European countries are taking a similar, if less ambitious, approach to narrowing the gender pay gap. The UK has ordered firms with over 250 employees to publish details of their gender pay gap with a written statement on their public-facing websites, as well as requiring them to submit the data to the government. And Germany, which has one of the highest gender pay gaps in Europe, has introduced a law giving employees at companies that employ over 200 people the right to know what colleagues of the opposite sex are paid on average in a comparable role to their own. Iceland hopes to eliminate the gender pay gap completely, but there is still a lot of hard work to be done. Until women have the opportunity to achieve the same level of success in their careers as men, the struggle to close the gender pay gap is likely to continue.